This is Cartoon, who's an Eternus 6, and we're going to analyze how they dominated this ranked match with Abrams. We're just going to go over the highlights of this match and skip a lot of the filler. He starts off by playing pretty aggressively. He manages to push the Haze back onto their Guardian. And that's honestly how you'd expect this to go. I mean, Haze does not want to be in striking distance of Abrams right now. Abrams has now got his 2, and you can see he's just desperate for that Haze to overcommit. Obviously, they're both really good players, so they're just going to go back and forth with souls for a while. Here we have our first engagement of the laning stage. The Haze manages to land a sleep dagger and melee him, but the Abrams manages to shoulder charge back, and they trade even damage. I actually think the Haze could have parried that heavy melee by the Abrams. But either way, it works out well for Cartoon. Also, sorry for the visual glitches on the screen. I don't know what happened, but it shouldn't be there for the whole game. Anyway, the Abrams is playing pretty aggressively here, which isn't surprising because he just wants to get this Walker over and done with. He wants to get it destroyed as quick as possible so he can start ganking other lanes. We actually see that the Abrams doesn't really want to engage with the Haze. He just wants to farm up his souls, and I think that's because Abrams doesn't really come online until he reaches about 1,500 souls, and that's when he can start really power spiking and buying better items. A really good time to go for a farm here, just while the wave is pretty much over. He's not really missing anything. He can go back, buy an item as well, and not miss a single trooper, hopefully, anyway. He might have missed one, I think. 1 or 2. Again, we can kind of see the Abrams not really wanting to engage with the Haze, just last hitting the minions and just going about his business. You can see he's also really playing around these boxes as well, trying to get as many souls and bonuses as he can out of them. And he's already starting to create a lead in front of the Haze. He's already 400 souls or so up. And I mean, the Haze can't really do anything at this point because Abrams is just such a monster close up. And, you know, if he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to engage with him. So it's just going to be really tough for the Haze here. I think one really good thing Cartoon does is he keeps a lot of lane pressure here, especially on a Haze where, I mean, it's not a bad idea. You know, some characters you want to play a bit further back with Abrams. Ooh, that was an unlucky trade right there. Maybe you should have just gone for a straight parry instead of trying to melee charge into him. It ended up kind of backfiring there. And is he going to get the kill here? Ooh, it's going to be close. He's low. Oh, he does manage to get the kill, but he goes down for it. Honestly, pretty unlucky. If his minions were just a little bit faster up there, he wouldn't have gotten targeted and he would have survived that. That's very unlucky right there. And you can even see the Haze is saying lol, because it's just such bullshit. I'm not sure if this was on purpose just to stop the Haze from farming, but he actually left that minion on pretty low health instead of clearing it, which just means it's going to take longer for it to respawn. The Haze is actually going to choose to engage here. He slides, does a bit of damage, managed to get a sleep dagger off. Does a lot of damage. And she pops the ult, and there's pretty much nothing the Abrams can do. He tries to heavy melee, but he gets stuck on a minion. I think he was being a bit too aggressive there, trying to get too many hits. I mean, you know, after 3k souls, the Haze has her ult, and you know, even Haze early game, who's not meant to be that dangerous, when she has her ult, you know, she's going to be able to do a lot of damage, even if her fixation isn't that high on you. Had he chose to just leave it at that single melee, heavy melee strike, he probably would have survived that engagement. The Haze did have to go back to base, though, to heal, so, you know, it just leaves the Abram free to just farm, which is great. And now he can start to push up this Walker. He's going to parry the Walker as well, let his minions survive a bit longer. And we see the Mirage teleport on top of him, I believe. It looks like he cancelled his ult, though, to be honest. I don't know what he was trying to do there. Maybe he was just trying to protect that tower. Just quickly saw, but I don't know. Maybe he just decided that the Wraith, he just had to deal with his Wraith on his lane. Probably, yeah, honestly, it was probably that the Haze was going to make it back in time. Probably got a comm or something. We're going to see the Abrams push up a bit here. Apply some lane pressure. Going to try and get that Haze to back off. He really wants to take that Guardian. He does not want to have to stay in this lane any longer. It's 8 minutes in. Stuff's starting to open up. And he's going in for the he's going in for a tower dive, trying to get that tower, and he does manage to get it. Nice. And now the Abrams done his job. He can just back off. He can go back to base. We're going to see he uses ult. The haze probably ran away a bit, but he's going to use it to actually get away from the haze. He just wants to go to safety. And he's actually going to go do this farm on the in the corner here. Just while he waits for the next wave of minions. Again, when you're looking at Eternus 6 gameplay, like, they don't waste any time. Every single second of the game, they're doing something useful. You know? They don't miss waves. They farm at the most opportune times. They never waste time. They're always progressing something. A little bit more farming, he manages to get enough money to buy an interesting item. So far he's bought a pretty standard Abrams kit, but here he kind of deviates from what I've usually seen. He buys Cold Front, which to me seems a little bit weird. It's going to help him clear minion waves a bit faster, but for me, I mean, as long as the minions group up, Abrams is pretty good at clearing minions. And is he... Ooh, that Mirage is very low. He's really going to go all in. Managed to get an amazing parry on the tower, and this is probably going to lead to a kill here. I think if he didn't get that parry on the tower, that Mirage might do a bit more damage, and he might get away. And again, he's just not wasting any time. He's getting all these boxes up here, going from building to building. Very nice, and he's gonna manage to pick up this spirit buff as well, just as it spawns in. And now we're going to finally see Abrams actually start to gank and help out other lanes, which is what he's pretty much notorious for. And he sees that Grey Talon in the air, and he takes him out from the air with a charge. I mean, you know, I didn't even know that was possible, to be honest. He's taking a lot of damage from these players on the left, so he's going to have to back off here. But he doesn't fully choose to go back to base. He actually stays here trying to look for anything he can do, see what he can do to help his team. And honestly, this is a really good play by him, because if he goes here, he's leaving the Paradox on it pretty much on his own. I mean, the Lady Geist is kind of there as well, but really the Paradox would have been on his own there. And, you know, there were 3 of them. They could have easily taken that and just made a big push on that Walker. Again, I've skipped a decent bit, but you can imagine he's just been very efficient. He's been farming, getting boxes. And he chooses to buy Warpstone, which is a pretty interesting item to buy on Abrams. It does come with a 20% weapon damage buff, just innate. And I mean, it is a pretty useful item on Abrams. I just don't usually see it bought this early. He gets unlucky, he can't finish off that haze. I think a newer player might have tried to get a bit greedy and try and dive on that Walker, but you would have just died. And he is kind of getting hurt here. Really good charge by Abrams. Manages to secure the kill there. That tunnel right there is such a good spot for Abrams to just use his charge in. So many times you'll see players just with Abrams go down there and bait out the enemy and just charge them all. I mean, literally, just as I say that, he does that exact thing. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them, and it didn't end up working. But I mean, you know, he managed to get a lot of damage off on them. Again, I've skipped a bit. He's just been going from lane to lane, farming a little bit. And now he notices that this Grey Talon is on his own with the Lady Geist. And he cuts them off. And he manages to chase it down and kill them. And so actually that was a really good case on why Cold Front is probably actually a really good item to buy on Abrams early. Because that 40% movement slow that the Cold Front did on the Grey Talon, you know, I think that's what got him that kill. Otherwise, he might have been able to get away. Abrams is just a very slow character early game, especially. So having items that can slow down the enemy, you know, speed you up, they're really important, especially because you want to gank a lot as Abrams and try and get picks. He's going to choose to buy Hunter's Aura here, which is going to be a really useful item against Eternus, Haze. I mean, this is going to make 1v1ing them a lot easier. He notices this Grey Talon, which seems to be really out of position, manages to get the Cold Front on him as well and secure the kill. And yeah, this Mirage is so dead as well. I mean, there's just no way. There's nothing he can do there. Now, this is hilarious. He notices that the Vindictor breaks a box, and he's now on the pursuit and chase. Managed to get the charge off, and yeah, this Vindictor is surely dead. Yep, that's insane. Really bad call by the Vindictor to stay in there. I mean, you know, two of your teammates have gone down. You know, it was time to just step back and probably retreat. Now, this is a very exciting play. He notices that the Eternus and the Vindictor are here on this lane alone. And usually this would be a pretty bad fight to take, but he's just so much further up in souls than them. The Paradox gets a very nice time slow on him, and this Eternus should definitely go down here. Actually, honestly, this was kind of my bad. He did have his teammates with him, so this wasn't really a 2v3. Even if they were on similar souls, this would have been a good fight to take. But honestly, I think the Abrams probably could have taken out that Vindictor on his own. I mean, he pretty much did. And they are just going to push this objective and definitely get this Walker. They're smart as well. As soon as they get the Walker, they just go back, because obviously the first thing that the enemy is going to do as soon as you get their Walker is they're going to rotate over to there, clear out the wave. So you don't want to stick around for that. I think one thing that I noticed about this gameplay that I don't see in a lot of others that I watch is how much he's using these roofs and like stuff to traverse the map. It's a really good way of keeping his souls up while he travels from lane to lane. You see a really nice bit of movement tack here as well. He uses the slide to keep momentum, and he bunny hops as well just to keep that momentum. He gets stuck on the gargoyle, but you know, still the principle was there. This is also just a really classic crate cycle, or whatever you call it. It's a really nice way to get a lot of little bit of a soul boost right there. And it really does seem like he bought Cold Front just as a way to slow the opponents down, which honestly, wow, I mean, that was really nice as well. Nice bit of movement right there. Notice is the Vindictor, but they're just going to leave him. Now there's 3 on there. And he's still actually staying relatively high up. He warp stones out of there, kinetic dash as well. The reason he felt safe staying up there is because he knew his teammates were with him and could help him if he got in trouble. I would not recommend doing this in lower ranks. Your teammates will just leave you to die. Jumps off the line, warp stones to the Mirage, tries to shoulder barge him, unfortunately misses. Starts targeting this Vindictor. Manages to, well, actually, you got the kill assist there. Ooh, that was a really good ult by him. He's going to switch targets, go on the Eternus, warp stone into shoulder charge, which is a really nice bit of attack right there, and he manages to get the kill on him. If you're an Abrams player, that's a little bit of attack that's really unexpected. Warp stone into shoulder charge, no one seems to expect it. I mean, it's just so unexpected. Manages to get the kill on the Lash, saving his Wraith as well. Unfortunately, she goes down anyway. Hayes manages to get a sleep dagger on her. He cancels the Hayes' ult with the shoulder charge as well. The Yamato's up there and she's ulted as well, so this should be a kill on this Mirage here. The Yamato should be able to finish that off. And the Yamato actually goes down. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. The Mirage is super low.
Headed this way.
This could be a trap.
He's actually going to use his shoulder charge here, and it looks like he's just using it as like a movement thing, just to move around the map quicker, which I don't really think is a great idea, especially because, I mean, you know, there are 3 players that were relatively close to him. If any of them decided to engage with him, he wouldn't have had that shoulder charge to use as defense. It would have been useful to see what enemies he could have seen on the map at that point, because I don't know if that was the best choice. Maybe he knew that there was no one too close to him. Yamato and him are going to see this Vindictor all on her own, and they're going to try and cut her off. Yamato just forces her out, and they manage to get the kill on her. He's going to teleport over to the other lane, and he's going to teleport straight into a team fight. This might be the end of him. He's going to ult here. Ult onto one. Great Talon. He's using her ability, doing loads of damage. This is a huge team fight. They managed to get the Grey Talon. That's huge. Ash also goes down. Another massive win. And yeah, the Mirage is just trying to run away, but he's probably not going to get away, especially with an Abrams and the Yamato chasing you. It's just not happening. Really beneficial team fight, and the Eternus also goes down as well. So now they might be thinking of mid-boss. And yeah, they're going in for mid-boss. The other team really doesn't have anyone that can really contest this. Their Eternus is dead, who, you know, he's probably the only one that has an ult that could really do anything. Abrams doesn't have his ult, which is usually a really good one for mid-boss, but, you know, they just don't really need it. A pretty pitiful attempt by the Grey Talon to try use that bird to do a little bit of AoE damage. Doesn't affect the outcome at all. They still get the rejuve, and they're just going to push up these lanes. Nothing too interesting, just everyone's just pushing up the lanes. But Abrams notices a little team fight going on the other side of the map, so he's going to teleport and try and help out. Nice bit of tech with the zip line. Keeps his momentum pretty well. He's going to try and get to this team fight as quickly as possible. The Mirage and Eternus are there doing loads of damage. He notices the Mirage there. Warp Stone into charge. Unfortunately, he doesn't get it off. Uses the Cold Sun to slow down the haze, but unfortunately, it probably was to his detriment because she managed to get off a lot of damage on him. Uses the ult to get out of there. Well, the Mirage almost gets a parry off on him, and oh, if he gets out of this, it's going to be really lucky, to be honest. I feel like he should be dead here. Grey Talon doesn't notice him. He actually backs off. And they're running away. I mean, I guess Reju buff is just too strong. The Mirage is going to go down. And, you know, now they're in prime position to just push up and try and do as much damage to their base as possible. The Grey Talon's also going to go down, and literally the entire team is down. The Lash is going to come up in a second, but, you know, he's not going to be able to do much against an entire team that has a Reju buff, and they're going to get both of these shrines here. There's really just nothing that the other team can do. I mean, there's only 2 of them. Everyone's up here. You know, I mean, they're trying their best. He gets tethered, but it really doesn't mean anything right now. They're just waiting for the patron to spawn so they can end this game. I mean, everything at this point is pretty much just like, you know, it's just a formality at this point. Like, the game's over. Unless they really screw up, there's just no way they're going to lose this. They're still smart. They're going to choose to play it safe. They know that, you know, they know how easy it is to turn a game back in a deadlock. You know, games swing so quickly. So they're going to keep their soul lead. They're not going to die. And I mean, really, that's the reason they've won this game, is because they just picked their team fights well. They picked when to engage and when not to. And now you can really see with the item choices that Abrams is fully switched over into like a tanky role now. He's no longer the, you know, early game sort of monster anymore. He's now fully just a carry. That was a really impressive bit of movement tech right there. 2 punches to get up there, just insane. But, yeah, you can see he's bought Life Strike. He's bought a bunch of other items that are just going to help him tank. I think he's even bought Return Fire, it looks like, to deal with the haze, his ult. Notices the Infernus. He doesn't want to engage. He's on his own. There's probably more with him as well, so it's smart just to hold back here. He's going to choose to engage now that his team is back. He misses that charge, unfortunately, but they managed to get the Infernus. Grey Talon lands a ult on him. Managed to get the pocket. The haze is being annoying. He pops Return Fire. He gets Sleep Daggered, but it's, you know, that haze shouldn't be getting out of there. Nice. Massive satchel there as well. Vindictor's going to do a lot of damage to Abrams here. This isn't looking good. He's going to pop his ult here, actually. And he's going to target the Grey Talon. Cold fronts and then goes in for the kill. Unstoppable active as well there, so he couldn't get parried, which is just beautiful, because otherwise he probably would have been dead there, honestly. I mean, he pushed up really far to get that kill on the Grey Talon, so he probably just felt confident because he had Unstoppable and, you know, Life Strike as well, giving him a lot of sustain. They managed to get the Vindictor as well, and that's a massive satchel that she just dropped. And again, they're back in the same position. They played it pretty safe, just, you know, had a good team fight, and now they're going to be able to confirm this win. No questions asked. Really good game by everyone on that team, really. You know, I think the main thing, especially with Abrams, it's very easy to just engage too heavily and kind of get caught out of position. But I think what Cartoon does really well is he picks his battles, you know? He doesn't go in all the time. He picks and chooses what fights he wants to take. And that's pretty much what won them the game, just good team fights.